I knew it. When this occurred back in 2016, I said this was not gang related. I said that this was a hit and it was somebody that was close to Andre who either killed him or had him killed. You know, what's done in the dark will always come to light. But my God, isn't 2020 the year of revelations? Everything is coming out in the open. So for anybody who's doing dirt, now I suggest you put it on hold. You better rethink your plans because it will come out. And for anybody who's done dirt in the past, and I'm not talking about like petty, dirty stuff. I'm talking about stuff like this. Oh, baby. Your ass is about to reveal too. So don't think that you can't, pretty much, be unscathed, because Tim Norman thought that he was off scot-free and it would be no traces. And he did everything in his power to be clean with this. Hired a stripper named Terica to be involved in this. And look, 4 years later, the feds caught up with his ass. Airtight case. And this ain't no state crime. He's being charged on federal charges. Okay? And I'm going to talk about this. I'm not going to play any, noises, no, sounds or anything like that. No effects, because this is serious. And this hurts because I was an avid watcher of Sweetie Pies. I started watching Sweetie Pies back in 2012. And I really, really, really enjoyed watching the show. And it was a real wholesome show because everything about it represented, in my opinion, what it was like being in an inner city as a black person and having ties to foundational black American heritage. And it just hurts that the legacy of this show is completely tarnished. I don't think they could even do reruns about this. I don't think they could re-air the show. I think they're gonna have to shelve it. There's no way. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. I'll be right back. I changed my mind. I decided to play the clapping effects. I just did it just to do it. But hey, what's up? It's your girl, Miss Analytical. I'm coming to you. I'm not going to say my location because of the trolls and whatever. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But I'm coming to you live. And this story, it just blew mine. I just want to shout out Lovely T because she was the one who I first saw post this. And Lovely T was an avid watcher of Sweetie Pies. Avid fan. She was a fan of the show. Me, I liked it a lot. But Lovely T reported this, and she did a great job reporting this. And I just got to give her a shout out because she's an excellent reporter, content creator on YouTube. If you haven't heard from her or heard of her before, just check out her content. It's excellent. But anyway, I just want to, read the article to you guys. I'm going to read about at least 2 articles. I might do 3, but I'm going to read one from CNN. And it reads, son of Sweetie Pie's owner charged in murder for hire plot to kill nephew. Authorities arrested a man in Mississippi on Tuesday for allegedly commissioning a murder for hire plot that killed his teenage nephew. James Timothy Norman, 41, was charged in a federal complaint from last week, according to a news release from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Missouri. Norman is the son of Andre Montgomery, reality TV star and owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant, according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. CNN has reached out to Norman's public defender for comment. The complaint alleges that Norman conspired with an exotic dancer residing in Memphis, Tennessee, and others to use a facility of interstate commerce, namely a cellular cell phone, to commit a murder for hire in exchange for United States currency. The dancer has also been charged in the plot, according to the release. In 2014, Norman obtained a $450,000 life insurance policy on his 18-year-old nephew, Andre Montgomery. Norman was the sole beneficiary, according to the release. In the days leading up to Montgomery's murder, and the other suspects communicated with Montgomery and told him she was planning to be in St. Louis. The day before Montgomery's murder, March 13, 2016, Norman flew to St. Louis, Missouri from his home in Los Angeles, California, according to the release. The next day, the two were in communication using temporary phones they had activated that day. The release said the female suspect also used the temporary phone to communicate with Montgomery and learn his physical location. After learning Montgomery's location, she immediately placed a call to Norman, according to the release. That day, around 8:02 p.m., Montgomery was shot to death, the release said. The woman's phone location information places her in the vicinity of the murder at the time of the homicide, the release said. Following Montgomery's murder, she placed another call to Norman and traveled towards Memphis, Tennessee, according to the release. She also deposited over $9,000 in cash into the various bank accounts days after the murder. A week later, Norman contacted the life insurance company and tried to collect on the policy he had taken out on his nephew, the release said. So this is from CNN. And I'm going to say this story hit around about 7 p.m. last night. So this is breaking news. This is not something that just happened. I mean, this is something that was just released. So he just got charged. Now, I want to say something. For him to have a public defender, and you was opening all these restaurants behind your mama's back, he ain't got shit. But then again, his mom is suing him for $100 million. So their relationship was strained already. And I'm going to get into that more. But I want to say, I noticed something about this. They're not telling us whether the stripper, Terica, pulled the trigger. You know, I'm thinking maybe she pulled the trigger, or maybe she brought somebody in, because a lot of times in these murder for hire cases, they'll bring somebody in, like the person that creates the plot will bring somebody in to, do the dirty work. But that person they bring in to do the dirty work isn't the one that pulls the trigger. The one that pulls the trigger is the person that's doing the dirty work. They get their people to recruit. So I'm thinking that Terica probably didn't pull the trigger. She probably had him lined up and got her people, probably some dirty thug dudes, to pull the trigger. And then she let Norman know what was up afterwards. And bitch, you was a dumb bitch for taking $9,000 from a dude that opened like 7 restaurants behind his mama's back on TV. Now $90,000, okay. But bitch, $9,000, you was a scum ass bitch. But anyway, I just want to say rest in paradise to Andre Montgomery. I really liked that kid. I really liked him. He was very young. I think he was born around like maybe 94, I believe. But was it 94? 18? Wait, was it 94? Hold on. He might have been born actually in 97. Because they say he was 18 when he was murdered. So he might have been born in 97. Because this happened in 2016. So he could have, because it was early. It was like March of 2016. I'm hurting right now. I can't even. This is so sad. All of us that watched this show, we was rooting for this kid. And he graduated from high school. This kid was not from St. Louis. This kid was from Inglewood, California. Okay? This kid didn't grow up with his father. His father was murdered. And he was the only son of his father. And Miss Robbie was so happy to like get him out of a bad environment. And she brought him into this family thinking that, oh, he's gonna, I'm gonna make sure he does good. And then he was working in the restaurant. And he was doing way better than Charles. And I just want to say this, a lot of the focus was on Charles, but Andre was the one that was doing all the work. If you watch Sweetie Pies, Andre was doing work. And if you notice, Tim, even though Charles was a slacker, Tim liked Charles better than Andre. And I always kind of thought that was odd. And I always thought it was odd whenever Miss Robbie would praise Andre. If you ever noticed, Tim was very attitudinal about it. And Tim basically wasn't even that happy when Andre graduated from high school. When he walked down the line, he wasn't really happy. Another thing, too, is that I believe, and this is just my opinion, I believe that Norman did this, and that's Norman as in Tim Norman, and his real name is James Timothy Norman. I believe he did this because let's go back into the history of the family. Tim Norman went to jail when he was 17. He did 10 years. He was released at the age of 27. You could say around about 2007. He was released, okay? The same age that he was when he went to jail, Andre graduated from high school. So this kid had another chance. His whole life was ahead of him. He had his whole youth ahead of him, and he was basically doing the damn thing. Now, what I mean he was doing the damn thing, I'm not saying that as in a good way, because even though he did graduate from high school and he had his freedom, he was caught up in stuff too. He was taking photos, holding guns. He was taking photos, repping gang signs, which is why everybody, except for me, concluded that, it was a gang hit. It was a gang stuff. But nobody ever said what gang affiliation he had. Now, I feel that Tim despised Andre because of that. I also felt that Tim despised Andre because Andre was better built. Now, I know people might laugh at this, but Timothy have big Bertha hips. He has big Bertha hips. His body is jacked up. And I believe it comes from steroids. Another thing, too, Andre had more successes than Tim. And Tim had more failures than Andre's one success. Andre's one success of graduating from high school overshadowed all of Tim's failures. Now, people are going to say, he opened his mother's restaurants. Yeah, he did it, one, on the show. Two, he did it behind his mother's back. All of that success that Tim had came from his mother. Tim had a miserably failed rap career. And the reason why it failed was, one, he was connected to Sweetie Pies. And she was a backup singer for Ike and Tina. I mean, it wouldn't have worked unless he came out when he was real young. And that was more than likely his grandmama. And number two, or he would have came out with the music instead of trying to do an armed robbery when he was 17. And number three, the reason why it wouldn't work is because his body is not that of a rapper. Only one person in hip hop can have a body like Big Bertha, and that's Questlove from The Roots. I want to make that clear. I say number 4. Another reason why Timothy has a lot of failures too is also the fact that his relationship with Janae didn't work. And I had a lot of criticism with Janae. But I felt that although she was a gold digger, I thought that she was only with him because of money, because she was like an uptown girl. Nothing wrong with her being an uptown girl. But I felt as though she was only down with him because of the legacy of Sweetie Pies. However, last month, a month ago, she said that Tim was stalking her, harassing her, and she feared for her life. And she did not want TJ around the family. That included, Miss Robbie. And I kind of side-eyed at first, but when I saw the video, when he was shouting and screaming, and when he was like, you don't do that to no black man, you don't do this to no man, and the way he was saying, it was very choppy. His anger wasn't really clear. It wasn't really like sincere. It was like, if I could see you right now, I would knock you the fuck out. And that kind of was alarming to me. And even though Jennifer Williams has her, credibility issues, she put out a restraining order against him because he was stalking her. But people thought that Jennifer Williams was, just, crying wolf and, creating hysteria of trying to be, in the news. But these ladies were right. There is something wrong with him. But I feel that part, I always felt his body was ravaged due to steroids. That's just my thing. Because it was something not right with him. And I think a lot of his issues had to do with his body. And for all we know, that also could have been the reason why he chose to kill his nephew. Now, at this time, Sweetie Pies sorry about that. At this time, Sweetie Pies is doing good. The show is still a hit. Money is being made. So my thing is this. Why did he have to do that? What was going on that they wasn't making any money? That he did this for a $450,000 life insurance policy. I don't believe he did it for an insurance policy. I believe he did it to want him out. I just believe that the insurance policy was to basically pay everybody off and then he would get the rest. But I believe that either way, he wanted Andre out the picture because he was getting the love and attention from Robbie Montgomery, and he had the possibility of being a real success story that Timothy Norman never could have, because for those 10 years of his youth was wasted being in prison. Now, I'm going to say this about the guns. I feel as though Andre, I'm not excusing what he did with the guns, taking photos of the guns and the gang signs. But I'm going to say something that nobody has said before. I believe Andre knew that his life was in danger. I believe that somebody was after Andre. And it could have been somebody that was connected through Norman. Because another thing about him too, and this is my thing. Andre had moved. Andre wasn't really living in Missouri after he graduated from high school. He was like going back and forth to Cali. I feel as though Andre was doing all this to make himself look tough, to make himself not seem like he was a punk. You know, I'm a woman, but I'm not a man, let alone a black man. And young black men, they respond to threats differently than women, particularly black women. They go to the extreme sometimes, and they will show weapons of mass. They will show weapons to let people know, don't fuck with me. Like, I'm ready. You know, a lot of times it's, either kill or be killed, kind of thing. So that's another theory that I have with Andre with the guns in the photo. Now, I'm going to read another article because, like I said, that's what I was going to do. And I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go to I want to say, according to the St. Louis Dispatch, the criminal case, the girl Terica Ellis, they charged her in July with conspiracy to use interstate commerce facilities in the commission of a murder for hire, resulting in death. She's part of conspiracy. The criminal case is part of Operation Legend, which has 50 federal agents to St. Louis to combat violent crime. The initiative was named for a 4-year-old boy who was shot and killed in June in Kansas City. Now, I want to say this. This is big because this kind of crime, interstate crimes, he's facing death penalty. This is not some 25 years. He's facing the death penalty. But I just want to say something. He doesn't give a damn about nobody. Timothy James Norman. I don't want to call him. I don't even want to call him that no more. I'm just gonna call him by his government name. And I just want to say that this fool moved to Mississippi to open a restaurant, Sweetie Pies, that flopped. That was a flop. Everything he's opened is flop. He's already has jeopardized the Sweetie Pies brand. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel as though there's no coming back to this. It's tarnished because Norman was an integral part of the show. And as a customer, unless you ate there all the time, as a customer, it's like, unless you ate there all the time, as a person who probably wanted to visit, if it's your first time visiting, it's not going to feel right. It's going to feel really eerie and creepy knowing that you're eating at a restaurant where the grandson worked and he got killed. And he got killed by his uncle, who was always on the show with his baby son. And he was running a restaurant. Especially if you're going to be in the one in St. Louis. I don't think people going to eat there like that anymore. Because that's some cold, chilling shit. That's really chilly. That's really like chilling. And it's just, it's just like, I can't really wrap my mind around it. And this motherfucker is smiling in the photos. This family is tarnished. I'm sorry. This family is tarnished. They're tarnished. This dude cut off a bloodline, his brother's bloodline. And I'm going to talk about something next because I'm coming right back. I'm literally coming right back with this commentary. See Oprah. And I just want to say, Oprah, you brought this family into the mix because you knew that they would sell your show, her network. And they helped to boost up her ratings because her network was plummeting. Okay? It was this show that helped her ratings, was the star of her ratings. Because her network was on the decline. And great show. Like I said, it was a great show. It was very entertaining. It kept me on my feet, on my toes. But And it was wholesome. It was more than likely, except for when Janae was cursing and stuff, and Tim, it was wholesome. But it's just like, oh my God, knowing that this dude will one day have his nephew lined up to be killed. I can't even really talk about this right because it's just shaking. And knowing that the last couple of seasons, when they was talking about Andre this, Andre that, Andre this, Andre that, the murderer was right there smiling, shaking people's hands. And they was trying to renew the show. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Looking at him from hug his mother, his grandmother, knowing what this dude was involved in. And I just want to say, the young son, his son that he has, Janae, don't you bring them around that family. You keep the distance. I'm sorry. I'm all for children knowing their fathers. But for this, if he could kill his nephew, I wouldn't put any doubt that he would kill anybody else. I'm sorry. You don't bring them around. I would never have him near my family again. I wouldn't have. If I was Janae, nah. They wasn't even paying rent. He was stealing money. You know, he might do drugs for all we know. It's like I can't even talk. I can't. I can't even read another one. I can't. Oh my God. All I'm going to say, I'm going to end it with this. Lord, wherever the spirit of Andre Montgomery is, I hope he's at peace. I hope he is at peace. And I hope and pray that he gets justice on the other side, because he did not deserve to be killed. He had his whole life ahead of him, and whatever wrong he was doing, he had a chance to make amends. He had a chance to basically redeem himself. But his uncle, his selfish, evil uncle, took that opportunity away from him. And I pray that James Norman, aka Tim, gets his justice and be convicted. And I hope they give him the max. And Terica Ellis, you a dirty stripper. You also need to do the maximum of time, because you took a life. You all took his life. Your freedom should be taken away. And that's how I'm going to end it. I'm signing off. Thank you for listening to my commentary, and share this commentary and discuss it. And I don't want any nonsense going on. This is not to my subscribers who've been rocking with me. This is not to anybody that's just randomly listening. But to all the trolls, don't come. Because y'all don't want to come on this one. Because this is serious. You better not. And with that being said, I'm signing off. Take care and have a good day. And I will be back for another commentary. Because I'm talking about something that I think needs to be looked into much further. Those of you all who watch the So Sweet Pod, y'all know what I'm talking about. For those that don't, y'all gonna learn real soon. Take care.